Hi, it's Ewan Ellery here making bonsai in Australia, and in this video I'm doing my second update on how to grow Royal Poinciana from seed. So I made a video a year ago now, so it was October 2020, it's now October 2021, just showing you what you need to do in order to grow Royal Poincianas from seeds. So they do have quite a hefty case on them, which can be quite hard to break, and then they also have seeds which are quite hard as well, and it really helps to basically cut off the tip of the end of that just to allow moisture to get in there and let them germinate. The easiest way to germinate those seeds is to leave the bean pod out in the sun for it to crack naturally, and then extract the seeds. I do have an alternate measure if you just want to go ahead and open them up. But yeah, that's the easiest way to get the seeds out. And the other method that I used is just to clip off with a pair of fingernail clippers or something the very end of those seeds, put them in water and soak them in water for a couple of days, and then put them in the soil. So I will leave a link up above where you can check out that full video. So initially when I did plant all of those seeds, I had planted all of them in the one pot. So given that they'd all been planted in the one pot, I think they were really struggling for basically for room and for nutrients. So you can see here, this one here, it's actually gotten quite thick. I've actually pruned this one back a couple of times as well, which is why you can see it's got a decent taper forming there, and it's also got a bit of movement in the trunk, but it's considerably thicker than something like this, which I planted all at the exact same time. So a couple of things happened here. So first off, I put all of the seeds into the one pot because I wasn't sure what the success rate was going to be for the germination. So initially I had, I can't recall, I think it was maybe 8 or 10 seedlings. Could have been a lot more actually, because I made this little mini forest when I broke it down, but a lot of seedlings coming out of the one pot, and they really didn't, some of them were really small. They didn't have a lot of room for them to grow and to really develop moving forward. So what I did a few months ago was I did my first update on growing Royal Poinciana from seeds, and in that video I kind of took all of the seedlings out of the pot. Kind of broke it down, put them into different pots to give them a bit more chance. Now, this one here I actually put back into the exact same pot that I initially had them all in, and I put it back with the soil that they were initially in, and there were a whole bunch of seeds that hadn't initially germinated through that process, and they've all since germinated. So I ended up having, pretty sure it was 100% success rate with all of the seeds just over the duration of 7 or 8 months. So just recently in the last few weeks I've actually removed a bunch of these ones that were in this pot, put a couple into different areas, but there were a few of these ones that had actually been poisoned from just the local block of units. Someone had come around getting rid of weeds, and they poisoned the edge of this pot. So a few had died. I actually used the extra ones from that recently came up just to fill out this area where the others had died. So quite a lot of trees from this, and I imagine this is going to get quite thick quite soon. It's maybe 1 centimeter in diameter at the base here, so it's nothing crazy, but I have significantly root pruned all of these in my earlier update, and you can see here when I lifted it up from the ground to give you this update today, there's a lot of roots that are coming out and going into the soil, so it's going to get quite large with time. And that's not to mention the fact that these, because it's only just coming into spring now, so they've been dormant for the last couple of months as well. So that's the update on my Royal Poinciana. Now, what I was going to do as well is just give you a brief tour around my yard, just to give you a bit of an update on all of the bonsai I have, where they're at, and some of the ideas that I have for some upcoming videos. Okay, so this is my backyard where I've got most of my bonsai that are some shape or form, through pre-bonsai through to Bonsai, just because it's a little bit more secure. So yeah, so just a couple of bougainvillea vertical cuttings there, nothing special. And yeah, so there's the Royal Poinciana, you can see there. So there's the fence where someone had poisoned it from previously, so I've just moved it out from that a little. And here I've got, so that's a Chinese elm, and I've done a couple of videos in that in the past, and really struggled with this one in particular. I tried having it as a bit of a cascade initially, really didn't take to that kind of structure, and then it had these branches growing up the top. So I got rid of the cascading branch. Yeah, just really wasn't working, and since then I've wired these just into interesting areas. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops, given up trying to make it in one particular kind of style. So I'm just letting it grow, see how it works, and go from there. Now this one I have had a lot more success with. So I've done a couple of videos in this previously where I pruned it back just to develop these little branch pads, and it's grown a fair bit since then. So well, not a huge amount, but it's growing out. So I'm just going to let this one grow for a fair while now, and then yeah, I might do another video on this sometime this year, but not for a while yet. And the same for my terracotta warrior, Chinese elm. Yeah, I've done videos on this, pruned it back, and again just letting it develop a little bit more padding and vigor. So a bit more budding back where I wanted it, but nothing crazy for that. Now this one here is Chinese elm, so quite happy with that. Not in a pot or anything for now. Just going to see how that develops. So just, yeah, again, letting it develop a lot of vigor, and then I'll put a bit more structure in it. And my trident maple, getting a few shoots since I pruned it back very drastically. Another corkbark Chinese elm. And a few different conifers there. And a few junipers. This one, yeah, I'm not sure what's necessarily happening up the top there. It's starting back a little bit. Some of those are living, so yeah, I'm just kind of seeing how it develops over time. The rest of them that I made all at the same time. I made 3 of these in one video. The others are both doing quite well. No browning spots, so yeah. See. And then here's my Fajawa. And yeah, just a clump style Ficus Benjamina I've got here, so quite keen to see how this one develops. Yeah, no crazy growth recently. It is in a fairly small pot though, so not expecting anything too severe from it. But yeah, I imagine it's just kind of redeveloping its root system for now, and then we'll get a bit more growth later this year. And one of my azaleas, you can see it's not doing too well. I've actually had a couple of holidays where I've been away, and then not being able to really water my azaleas so consistently, or my plants in general so consistently, and they suffered a little bit from it. So I've got another azalea down here where yeah, really struggled when I was away one time, so I'm trying a little bit of the Peter Chan moss trick just to try and yeah, get that back to life, but I'm really not sure. There's still a little bit of elasticity in those branches, so might be in luck, but I don't know if I hopes. Yeah, fake cypress, a couple of roses. So all of these, again, as with the Royal Poinciana from seeds, all these roses, I planted these seeds at the same time. So I've actually initially moved one of the seeds from this pot into this pot, and this has grown like crazy, and all of these are really slow to develop. So not sure. This one had been out here and those others in the front yard, and yeah, it just seemed to be doing a lot better in the backyard, so I've moved them all out here. And bougainvillea, this has been doing quite well since I published my video on it. Initially I wasn't sure if this arm would survive, but yeah, as you can see it's budding back quite well, so very, very keen. And excited to see this, there's a branch budding out here which is in a kind of cool location, so yeah, very keen to see how this one turns out in the future. And my rose was advertised as a white rose. It actually came into bloom recently and it's a yellow rose, so false advertising. And recently did a video on all my cypresses. These are all doing really well. Another Benjamina. I need to take off that wire at some stage, but yeah, not sure. A little bit of biting in that won't hurt in the long run, and I just want to make sure it actually sets into that position. And my olive has been doing incredibly well. And there we've got my bored cypress, so gonna wait a couple months. I think I did that originally 10 months ago just as a cook and grow approach, so I'll wait a couple more months to see if it's had a lot of recent growth, so see how it goes. Again, got a lot of branching just coming out from that area, which is not where I wanted it all. There's a few branches coming out in decent places I might be able to use, but yeah, I need to think of something for that one. Boxwood forests, so I've had a bit of bug problem. Some of the branches here, it's got a lot of shoots coming off. It's growing quite well, but yeah, there's certain parts of it that are not doing too well, so we'll see. And this willow leaf ficus is doing quite well. So yeah, the wiring, similar to Ficus benjamina that I mentioned before, the wiring started biting into it, but then when I took off the wiring it kind of bounced back a little bit, so I've got wire just kind of propping it out from the branch into the right position. And I also had to there are a whole bunch of new buds coming off here, so I just had to kind of wipe those off. So another one coming off there, just have to keep rubbing those off so they don't come off in the wrong spots. And another bougainvillea. Keeps growing in weird ways, so it's going to be a bit of trouble. Leaving the guava in front of it. And the boxwood. And the ficus. And the yogurt behind it is just a bunch of cork bark Chinese elm cuttings. And yeah, so this sarissa, I really thought this part was going to die, and it's doing quite well actually, so and both of the cuttings on that Schefflera are doing well so far. Just a bunch of free bonsai down the bottom there. And then got my my mulberry tree, and again it just keeps shooting up and not having branching out on the sides, so I have to just let that do its thing for a while. Another bored cypress, 6 months since I did the video on this one, so let that go a little bit as well. Yeah, a lot better than branching on that. Another one I'll probably do an update on soon, just to bring back. And my main sarissa doing incredibly well. And pull that out the front. So yeah, got a bit of stuff growing up here. Good for coming up here. Yeah, so just a few ficuses grew from cuttings as well, and you can see some that I've thrown into the ground just to get some vigor. That's a Japanese maple that I grew from cutting, just coming into life now, and that's a mystery tree that's just grown here. Some deciduous tree. It's Benjamina. Junipers from cuttings. That's Brazilian cherry, one of which grew from a root cutting down the bottom, and two more Brazilian cherry that have grown from normal cuttings. And those are pomegranates. And a whole bunch of mulberries that I'll do something with in time. And a couple of jacarandas. So yeah, I did another video on these where I did pretty severe root prunings, and they're doing quite well. And a bunch more cuttings from the Ficus, and cuttings that I grew from the board cypress there, and a couple olive cuttings growing in here. So there's my update. So look, thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoy this content, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so that you're notified with my future videos as I release them. And look, I'm always interested in hearing what you might have that you want me to do videos on, or if there's any other types of, maybe some unique kind of tree that you're interested about turning into a bonsai. So if you've got any questions, please leave a comment below and I'll be sure to answer them. Thank you.